why your whey protein is good for you, not the garbage that someone else is telling you it is. So this morning I'm on another platform looking at reels that have been sent to me, and one that comes across is one saying that whey protein is the junk left over from making cheese, and that makes it inherently bad for you. And it kind of irked me, and it kind of also frustrated the crap out of me, because one of the things that we learned in 2020 is that sometimes you don't have extra, and you need to use every bit of everything you have in order to have success in your life at that moment. The statement also came from someone who purportedly uses paleo in his health coaching and also carnivore. If you're following a Paleolithic diet, our Paleolithic ancestors use every part of the animal, like every part. One thing you may want to consider is that they even used the bladder as a water bottle. If you've seen or been interested in any of those videos on homesteading where they're making their own butter from heavy cream because it's cheaper than buying a pound of butter, there's an extra liquid there, right, that comes from the cream. That can also, some people will tell you it's buttermilk, that could also be considered whey. I think one of the things that we forget is that when we are using all of what we can from what we take in, including the people making tallow balm from the tallow from the beef that they're cutting up themselves instead of buying lotion, we are more friendly to our environment. And when we don't utilize the excess from things that we normally wouldn't eat or we would think of as waste, what happens to that? And there are whole cultures that would say that by not utilizing everything that the animal gives to you, you are wasting the gifts from the earth and the gifts from God. Do you remember the nursery rhyme that talks about Little Miss Muffet eating her curds and whey? The curds are the start of the cheese making process, and the whey is the liquid that is separating out. And she's sitting there eating it partly because she's poor. Whey protein is not bad for you because it's the junk left over from making cheese. It is a substance, not unlike the water that comes off of the butter you're making in a jar, that comes out and separates, and it has protein in it. They then take it and dehydrate it. Now here's where it gets tricky. There's what they call low temperature processing and high temperature processing, low temperature filtering, and high temperature filtering. If you want the best quality of whey protein, you are going to want something that says it is low temperature processed and low temperature filtered. A lot of them will say low temperature filtered, trying to make you believe that they low temperature processed it, but when you email them and ask them, that's not actually the case. Why does it matter? The higher the temperature you cook something at, the more you denature the proteins in it. So if you have something that is high temperature processed and it takes less time, you get a low quality of protein because the amino acids have been degraded too far to be very useful. So in that case, yes, whey protein could inherently be bad for you. But if you're getting a low temperature processed, and they pay for that certification, so they'll tell you about it on the label, a low temperature processed whey protein, you're actually getting, essentially, if you made your own cheese, the leftover water with protein in it. And if you're someone who's making your own bone broth, you're essentially doing the same thing. The bone broth is the waste or the byproduct of melting down the bone marrow for hours at a time. That's what they do with the whey to get the cheese separated, the solids separated out. And then they either low temperature dehydrate or high temperature dehydrate the whey. Now here's another caveat. If you're using protein as a supplement to normal food, because you struggle in a normal day to get your 90 to 150 grams of protein, depending on whether you're female or male, and you need a protein shake to make up 20 to 30 grams of that protein. Okay, great. It should not be used as a meal replacement. You should still be eating your meals. Most of your protein should come from something you chew. Again, this is just something I wanted to clear up because it annoys me when I see things that make it so much harder and so much more confusing when literally it's just someone's personal belief. It has no valid facts behind it.